the pandemic sort of locks things down in February, March of 2020. George Floyd gets murdered in May, and the streets explode. Is it coincidence? And I would say not. And why? Because the pandemic, number one, had us all in our homes. Nowhere to go. So the 8 minutes and 46 seconds that George Floyd was being killed, we were transfixed to the TV and not distracted by going to work or on vacation or entertainment. We were stuck in our homes, transfixed with nowhere to go, number one. Number two, even though we're not going to compare the reality of being Black in the United States and this other reality of being vulnerable to COVID, COVID created a shared sense of vulnerability. A moment where whites and people of other that were not Black had an inkling of what it's like to be afraid to leave your home, the comfort of your home, the safety of your home, and just being normal, going shopping, going walking, going to the movie, could actually lead to your death. And sort of a recognition, oh, maybe that's what a lot of Black Americans are talking about when they're afraid to leave their home and get pulled over while driving while Black, or walking while Black, or shopping while Black, right? That I could get COVID just for no fault of my own, except that I just was going about my business and unexpectedly my life can change. And think about the metaphoric power of COVID and what happened to George Floyd. George Floyd's last words were, "I can't breathe." What are the last words people say when they have COVID? I can't breathe. So this sense of empathy sort of gets converged with a sense of a shared sense of vulnerability and an openness to experience other people's pain, because we were having a shared pain through COVID, and now I can open up to other forms of pain. And one of the most powerful impacts of 2020 in the wake of George Floyd is that for the first time ever, we heard finally CEOs use the language of systemic racism and inequality. They ran away from that word forever. They did not want to acknowledge it. No, our constitution is not racist. No, we don't have structural exclusions. We're fair, we're a meritocracy. And then when they looked at all the data and all that came out of that, they're like, we are the power. We are the institutions that are perpetuating these inequalities. What are we doing about it? And that is a massive shift, both on two levels. Leaders owning their accountability for the change that hasn't happened, and then looking at the change in a systemic way and not just in a programmatic or interpersonal way.